Have you ever walked away from a conversation with a woman and wondered what went wrong? She seemed interested. She smiled. She stayed longer than she had to. She replied to your messages, yet somehow nothing happened. No intimacy, no deeper connection, no clear sign that she wanted you the way you wanted her. And the worst part? You started questioning yourself. Maybe you're not attractive enough. Maybe you're too nice. Maybe you're missing something every other man seems to understand. If you've ever sat alone replaying conversations in your head, trying to figure out why a woman lost interest when everything seemed to be going well, then stay with me. I'm here to tell you something important. This was never your fault. Nobody taught you this. I'm the Stoic way, and this is where we uncover the real psychology that creates desire. Because the truth is that women rarely announce attraction directly, especially when intimacy is involved. Most of the time, attraction moves through questions. Subtle questions. Questions that seem innocent on the surface, but reveal something much deeper underneath. And when a woman wants intimacy, there are two specific questions she often asks. Not because she's gathering information, because she's scanning, testing, feeling, trying to discover whether you are the man she can emotionally move toward. And I'll warn you now, the final one is incredibly powerful. It can change everything fast, and almost no one uses it correctly. Before we get there, you need to understand something that changes the entire game. Attraction is not logical, it's emotional. A woman can like what you say and still feel nothing. She can disagree with you and feel intense chemistry. Why? Because attraction doesn't happen in the conscious mind first. It happens deeper, in the subconscious, in the ancient parts of the brain that evolved long before dating apps and text messages existed. Evolutionary psychology shows us that human beings constantly evaluate potential partners through mental shortcuts, tiny signals, behavior patterns, emotional responses. Women often do this without realizing it. They aren't running calculations. They're feeling. Their minds are asking questions like this. Can I trust him? Can he handle pressure? Does he have purpose? Will he stay grounded when emotions rise? Is he chasing me or is he choosing me? Once you understand these hidden patterns, something changes. You stop chasing. You stop performing. You stop trying to convince women to like you, and you start becoming the man women naturally want to win over. Let's begin with the first trigger, masculine presence. This isn't about muscles. It isn't about height. It isn't even about looks. Masculine presence is grounded energy. It's emotional stability. It's the feeling that you are comfortable in your own skin. Imagine a woman asks you a challenging question. Maybe she teases you. Maybe she disagrees. Most men immediately become defensive. They rush to explain themselves. But you don't. You smile. You stay calm. You answer without tension. That reaction communicates strength far louder than words ever could. Still waters run deep. Now let's talk about the first question women often ask when intimacy is beginning to enter their mind. What are you looking for? Simple question, but rarely a simple meaning. Most men hear this and start giving interviews. They explain their relationship history, their goals, their intentions, their entire dating philosophy. Wrong move, because the real question underneath is often this: do you know who you are? She's not evaluating your answer. She's evaluating your certainty, your emotional center, your confidence, your direction. A man who says, "I'm enjoying getting to know people and seeing where genuine connection leads," often creates more attraction than a man who launches into a 10-minute explanation. Why? Because certainty creates safety, and safety creates openness. Not certainty about the future, certainty about yourself. Know yourself first. Everything else follows. The second trigger is emotional challenge. Women are often attracted to polarity, not conflict. polarity, a little tension, a little unpredictability, a little spark. Suppose she says, "I bet you say that to every woman." You could defend yourself, or you could smile and say, "Only the interesting ones." Playful, relaxed, confident. You aren't attacking, you aren't proving, you're creating emotional movement, and attraction loves movement. Be warm, but don't be predictable. Now think again about that first question. What are you looking for? Many men answer from fear. Fear of losing the opportunity. Fear of saying the wrong thing. Fear of rejection. Women feel that energy instantly because attraction isn't just hearing words, it's feeling emotional states. The man who fears losing her often loses her. The man who values himself becomes intriguing. Neediness repels, purpose attracts. That brings us to the third trigger, selective attention. One of the biggest mistakes men make is giving unlimited access, unlimited texting, unlimited availability, unlimited attention. They think generosity creates attraction. Usually, it creates familiarity, and familiarity without value becomes invisible. A woman notices when your life matters, when your mission matters, when your attention has standards. Imagine she texts you during a busy day. You respond later, not to manipulate, not as a game, because you were genuinely focused on meaningful things. That communicates abundance. You have a life worth living, and that is attractive. Attention is valuable. Spend it wisely. If this is making sense so far, hit subscribe and join the Stoic Way community. It helps more men learn what they were never taught. Now let's go deeper, because there's another layer most men completely miss. When a woman becomes emotionally interested, she starts collecting details, tiny details. The way you respond under pressure, the way you speak about family, the way you treat strangers, the way you react when plans change. These observations matter because intimacy requires trust, and trust is built from patterns, not promises. Which brings us to the fourth trigger, intentional listening. Most people listen to respond. Very few listen to understand. Women notice the difference immediately. Let's say she casually mentions her favorite coffee shop during a conversation. 3 weeks later, you ask, "Did you ever try that new drink from your favorite place?" Suddenly, she feels seen. Not because you remembered a fact, because you remembered her. That creates emotional connection. Deep connection starts with attention. People move toward those who understand them. Now let's reveal the second question. The question that often appears right before intimacy begins to grow. The question many men hear but completely misunderstand. It sounds like this: "What are you doing this weekend?" Or, "What do you usually do when you're not working?" Or, "What does your life look like outside of this?" On the surface, it seems casual, but underneath, something deeper is happening. She's imagining herself inside your world. She's trying to understand your lifestyle, your purpose, your energy, your direction. She wants to know whether your life feels attractive from the inside. Many men answer with facts. They list activities, tasks, schedules. Again, they miss the emotional layer. The real question underneath is this: would being part of your life feel exciting, meaningful, and safe? That's what she's actually trying to discover. Because intimacy doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in imagination. A woman begins picturing herself in your reality long before anything physical happens. Can she see herself there? That's the hidden test. And the answer isn't what you say, it's how you live. This is where the fifth trigger becomes powerful. Calibrated vulnerability. Notice the word calibrated, not emotional dumping, not complaining, not playing victim. Real vulnerability means sharing something genuine while remaining grounded. For example, you might say, "A few years ago, I struggled with confidence. Working through that taught me a lot about resilience." Simple, honest, strong. You revealed something real without collapsing into it. That creates trust. Because authenticity feels rare. Strength and honesty together are magnetic. Truth creates connection. Let's pause for a moment. Think about the two questions again. What are you looking for? What do you do outside of work? Neither question is really about information. They're about emotional assessment. Women often ask these questions because intimacy requires answers to deeper concerns. Who is this man? What drives him? Can he lead himself? Can he handle life? Would I feel safe opening up to him? That's the hidden conversation happening beneath the visible one. Most men never realize it, which is why they focus on words instead of signals. But now you're starting to see the map, and understanding the map changes everything. The sixth trigger is gradual physical touch. This one requires maturity, respect, awareness, and timing. Never force it, never rush it. Physical connection grows naturally when emotional comfort already exists. A light touch on the shoulder during laughter, a brief touch on the arm while making a point. Natural, respectful, appropriate. These moments matter because human beings are wired for connection. Oxytocin plays a role in bonding and trust. Small moments can create familiarity and comfort. The key word is gradual. Let trust lead, not desire. Move with awareness. Now here's something fascinating. Many men think intimacy begins when attraction reaches a certain level. Not always. Often intimacy begins when uncertainty decreases. A woman may already find you attractive, but attraction alone isn't enough. She needs confidence in her emotional experience with you. Can she relax around you? Can she trust your reactions? Can she be herself? Can she feel desired without feeling pressured? These questions matter more than most men realize, and they all point toward one final trigger, the most overlooked one, the most misunderstood one: controlled unpredictability. This is where many men make mistakes. They become inconsistent, hot and cold, unavailable, confusing. That's not attractive. That's immaturity. Controlled unpredictability is different. It means your life has momentum, purpose, depth, surprise. You don't operate from a script. Imagine you normally meet for coffee. One day you suggest a local art exhibit. Another day a scenic walk. Another day a bookstore. Nothing extreme, just enough variety to keep experiences emotionally fresh. Why does this matter? Because dopamine responds to rewarding uncertainty. The brain pays attention when positive experiences contain small surprises. Predictability creates comfort. Mystery creates excitement. The strongest attraction contains both. Be stable, yet interesting. That's the balance. And almost no one gets it right. Now let's connect everything together. A woman asks what you're looking for. She's assessing your certainty. A woman asks what you do with your time. She's assessing your world. Then she watches. She watches your presence, your emotional control, your attention, your listening, your honesty, your touch, your spontaneity. Not consciously, mostly subconsciously. She's looking for patterns, the same way you are, because attraction is rarely a single moment. It's accumulation, tiny moments stacking together. One conversation, one smile, one memory, one emotional experience at a time. That's why desperate tactics fail. That's why manipulation eventually collapses, because genuine attraction grows from consistency, not performance. Real value doesn't need to announce itself. It reveals itself, slowly, naturally, powerfully. And here's the truth many men need to hear. You do not need perfect looks. You do not need perfect lines. You do not need perfect timing. You need awareness. You need emotional intelligence. You need strategy. Because when you understand what women are actually responding to, everything becomes simpler. You stop obsessing over every text message. You stop analyzing every emoji. You stop wondering whether you said the perfect thing. Instead, you focus on becoming more grounded, more intentional, more present, more interesting, more emotionally strong. The irony is that the less you obsess over attraction, the more attractive you become. Because confidence isn't trying to control outcomes, it's trusting yourself regardless of outcomes. That's what women feel. Not perfection, certainty. Not arrogance, grounded value. Not pressure, purpose. And when those qualities exist, something remarkable happens. The questions become more frequent, the conversations become deeper, the connection becomes easier. Not because you're using tricks, because you're communicating qualities that human beings have always valued, across cultures, across generations, across time. Strength, honesty, purpose, presence. These qualities never go out of style. So the next time a woman asks you what you're looking for, don't rush. Stay grounded. The next time she asks about your weekends, don't perform. Be authentic. Remember what's really happening. She's not just hearing answers. She's feeling energy, evaluating patterns, imagining possibilities. And that awareness alone puts you ahead of most men. Because now you understand what many never learn. Attraction is often hidden inside ordinary conversations. The words seem simple. The meaning is deeper. The signals are subtle. But once you see them, you can't unsee them. You begin moving differently, speaking differently, listening differently, not because you're pretending to be someone else, because you're finally understanding the game beneath the game. And that creates a new identity. The identity of a man who no longer chases validation, a man who no longer panics when attraction isn't obvious, a man who understands human psychology and uses that understanding with respect and intention. Real tools, not tricks. Real growth, not manipulation. You don't need perfection. You need strategy. You don't need to become someone new. You need to uncover the strengths that were already there. The strengths nobody taught you how to use. And once you do, women stop feeling like a mystery, because you finally understand the deeper patterns behind desire. Carry that knowledge quietly, use it responsibly, apply it intentionally, and watch how differently people respond to you. If you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women genuinely desire, subscribe to the Stoic Way now. Turn on notifications, because the next one will shift your reality again.